Hey there folks, Armageddon here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, 6-inch Thorin Oakenshield, brought to us from the Bridge Direct. This will be the last, this is the final 6-inch figure that we've got left to review. A great figure, just like all the other Hobbit figures that we've gotten so far from the Bridge Direct. They've been doing an outstanding job. This is the exact same packaging that we got with the 3-inch figure, just bigger. Same exact packaging, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. I'm just going to set it aside. If you do want to take a read at the bio, let's let this focus real quick. See if it will. There we go. Go ahead and pause that and take a quick read up about it. It's basic. Most everybody, if you're watching this review, you've probably seen the movie. So we're going to bring in the figure. Here we have Thorin, who, except for a couple subtle differences, or slight differences, is the exact same figure as the 3-inch. And I'll bring him in here for a comparison in just a second. This figure really does continue the tradition of the Bridge Direct figures of being a pretty accurate representation of the figures in the line. With that said, there are a couple things that really do kind of bug me about this figure. Number one, of all the figures so far, I do feel that Thorin here has the most inaccurate representation of the picture, his likeness to the actual actor. If I bring in the picture of him on the front, I just, the Legolas figure, the Gandalf, and the Bilbo, they look spot on to, they look almost identical to their screen actor, and it's this one, I can see where they're close to it, but not quite. They're just not quite on there. But I'm not gonna let that really ruin the figure for me. One thing that is different is he has on his fur coat here, which the 3 3/4 inch does not. Here he is, and you can see that he just has his regular coat on here. But I do like this. I do like that they did add this fur coat. I have not tried to take it off yet, but I'm gonna assume that you probably can. I don't know. Leave a comment. Tell me if I can. I'm not gonna really try, just because it kind of helps distinguish the two figures. But I did like that they took the time to add that, because he does wear it in the movie. As for everything else, he still has, the exact same detail, just kind of amped up a little bit as the regular does. I love the nice big belt buckle that he's got here. All of the chainmail that he's got going throughout his armor is really nice. I love the orcrist here on his back. I love the gray hair that's here in his hair. I love that they took the time to add that. I think that's a wonderful detail that, again, they didn't have to. One major improvement is his shield here, his oak shield, is much better put together than the 3-inch was, the 3 3/4 inch was. If I bring the 3 3/4 inch here, this one was just one solid piece, and because you want to have pivot here in his arm, it would fall off. I mean, you really just don't even have to touch it hardly at all, because the peg wasn't long enough, and it didn't fit in there all that good, so it would just slip off all the time. This one comes in at a bit of an angle, and the peg on it is much bigger, so it's not going to go anywhere unless you want it to come off, so I do love that. As for his accessories, he comes with the orcrist here, which in my 3 3/4 inch review is kind of the sister sword to Sting and Gandalf's sword, the Glamdring, just like the 3 3/4, just a little bit more detail on it. Slides right out of the sheath there. Again, really nice elvish design here on the blade. I really like that. They really did a very good job. I've seen a couple videos where they talked about some scuff marks on the blade, and mine unfortunately has them too, so I don't know if that was something they intentionally tried to do but it's there on mine too. Slides right back in the sheath good. They also improved on the peg that goes in here on his back, so it also stays on better than the smaller figure does. As for his other accessory, this is actually, because this goes into his coat and his back, it can be annoying to get this back in. It will stay in there once you get it back in, but there we go. We'll just leave it like that for now. His other sword here, and it has a name, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's just his standard dwarvish sword that he's got going on. Really nice detailed, just like the smaller figure was. This one has a little extra detail in the handle here and on the bottom of the hilt. I like that. Still in love with this sheath that they have for it going on. I love that it just slides right in there and it's just one solid piece, so that's really cool. Now on to the big problem with this figure. The most annoying part is by far his stability. Of all the 6-inch figures, this guy is easily the most frustrating to get to a good stable point. You really have to work with his legs to get him to stand straight up. He's very uncooperative, and that, again, just like the other figures, comes from the inability to get up here to the hips so you can manipulate the joints on them. You really have to just do some bending, just be patient, and just find that point with him where he'll stand up. If anybody is any kind of collector, they know the troubles of trying to get your figures to stand, so you just kind of have to keep messing with them until, and of course me, I'm not going to be able to get them to stand right now. But overall, I actually picked this guy up from Toys R Us online, bought him online, and they were running a deal where you get buy one get one half off. So I got Bilbo for $15 and Thorin here for about $7.50. So a very good deal for him, cheaper than the price of his smaller figure, which I paid $10 for. So a very good deal for him. I do feel that he is the weakest of the 6-inch figures. Now, I'm not going to buy Tariel just because, one, she was not in the movie, and two, if her figure is anything like the 3 3/4 inch figure, I don't want any of that, because that is the most frustrating figure that I own, stability wise. Although this guy's giving her a run for money. Let's go. Let's keep him spread leg like that. He looks pretty gay, but I'll keep him like that for now. So I do think he's the weakest, where Gandalf is probably the strongest. I also really like the Legolas, even though he wasn't in the movie also. I really like Legolas's character. He may be one of my favorites in the whole series. So I had to pick him up. But still, overall, for $15, I still couldn't say that they're not worth the money. I do still think they're worth $15 a piece. If they're still having that deal, go buy them. You can get them for half off. But this has been Armageddon with another video review, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey, 6-inch Thorin Oakenshield from the Bridge Direct. Thanks for watching.